Hey everyone, just jumping on here to do a quick live in design. Let me mute myself. Alright, sorry, I'm still getting used to the whole live thing, and I'm still not sure how to share myself out, so we're going to do a fall design today. Let's see, I'm just trying to figure out if I can share this because I don't know how to do that. Hey Tori. Alright, so we are going to, I started this fall design and then I thought I would just come on and finish it up live, but we are building this on a 36-inch swag, so it's actually a teardrop swag, but we're going to turn it into a centerpiece with some pumpkins today. So as you come on, if you could just say hi. And Tori, where are you watching from? Hey Audrey. Alright, so today I am going to design with a lot of different fall colors. So this is my inspiration. I've got some pumpkins here that were handmade, and we're going to use these in a design, a centerpiece. Hey everyone coming in. Alright, and so I have got some materials here. I've got lots of fun materials, and I've got some beautiful fall flowers that we're going to maybe pop in here. But that is the inspiration for today. So let me just go ahead and maybe put this pumpkin here so you guys can see them, that this is what we're working with today. All right, I'm going to start with some ficus. And if you have any questions, once you get in here and I get started, just let me know. I'm happy to answer questions. If I miss your question, I'll try to go back and comment. But this is really going to be a pretty full design without a lot of glue. I don't really want to use a whole lot of glue in this design. So, hey everyone. Just trimming down the extra that we don't need. And my mesh in the center here is just strictly for holding those pumpkins in place and making sure I've got a foundation for them to sit other than just on top of my florals and greeneries. So that's really what that's for. Hey everyone, we're doing a fall design with some handmade pumpkins. Just trying to get my base together here. Hey Becky. Come on in and say hello when you come in. I feel like nobody wants to watch when you don't have any music blaring, so maybe I should have turned some music on. Hey Jackie. I'm using this full fall pick, and it's got leaves and twigs and pine cones and berries, and I really like this twig here. This is really fun to work with. So, and in this centerpiece, I am literally just using the whole thing because this is a very simple design that anyone can do. It doesn't matter if you're a designer or you want something just for your home yourself. You could literally do this yourself because it's very, very simple. I just started with a 36-inch teardrop swag, and we are going to turn it into a pumpkin centerpiece. And again, we're barely using any glue. I've got my glue gun going, but hopefully we don't have to use too much glue because we are going to really tie everything right down into this base so that we don't have to use that much glue. All right, so I've just put 2 bunches of ficus on each side in the fall colors. Hey Mel, thank you for the heart. Heart me. I'm just designing a fall pumpkin centerpiece. And so then I've put this one bunch of fall twigs and spray on here, but I did that to both sides, and then I just put some mesh here in the center, only the center, because we're going to put these pumpkins there. So again, I've done nothing so far. I've literally just placed it onto my teardrop, and then we are going to tie everything together, and I also can put some zip ties if I need extra security. All right. I've also got these twigs here that I thought we could look to see if we want to incorporate that in here. I may come back in and do something afterwards, after I place the pumpkins, because I always like to come back with some extra filler. So I'm going to go ahead and get these secured down in here so that we can get started on the fun stuff. You have fall on your mind too. It's your favorite season. Well, Halloween is my favorite season of all time, but I am definitely prepping for all the fall stuff. All right, so and here I just put my mesh like right over those pine ties. So that's another real good reason for just adding that down at the bottom. And again, you can see I'm just going in here with the pine ties and tying that in. And then I'll lay those ties down underneath, and I will put my mesh right over it so that those ties are hidden. And you'll see too, after we get all done, these little green branches, if they're extra long, we'll go back and snip those off. But for the most part, everything will be covered up and you really won't see that. I'm just kind of fluffing. I'm not really doing anything that you can't do at home. I am just fluffing everything up because you want it to have multi-dimension layers in here. So that's all I'm doing. And then again, I've got these twigs, and I just really want those to just lay across the top there. We may move them later, but for now, that's just where we're going to put them. Okay, all right. So I've got, Mel, thank you for all those hearts and community gifts. That's very sweet. All right, so this is my inspiration. I got this from an Etsy seller. She hand makes these, and originally my thought was to put it into a wreath, but I really didn't want anything to happen to the knit on the pumpkins, so we're going to put it in the centerpiece. Essentially, once we get it done, if somebody wanted to hang it on their door, they absolutely could, right? Because you could lay this out as a tablescape, or you could hang it on your door. But that's the inspiration. I really wanted to use these pumpkins. So we are going to start securing them in here. And I'm probably going to put this one on this side just because I've got a little bit more room over here to work with this one. And you've got two ways you could secure this, right? You could glue all of this down and put it in your design, or you could take a zip tie through here and then secure it. That's my preference. Just in case somebody decides they want to hang this on their door, I'm going to secure it. I love that she even includes like this little hand tag to show that it's handmade. So that's really neat. So I'm going to go ahead and just get some really long zip ties. Hey, Snoopy lover. I'm going to get some really long zip ties because, again, I'm really not using a lot of glue. And I'm going to go ahead and do this big one first. And I'm just going to go ahead right in here towards the center on the bottom. And I'm just going to put that in like that. Okay, and then we are going to figure out where do we want to place it. I'm thinking I want it about right here. And I'm going to go down in between my mesh and wrap that zip tie right around the base. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, there's no specific spot. Really, it's just a matter of can you get in there and find somewhere to grab a hold of. So. And I found a spot. And don't worry about your zip ties showing, because once you get this really full, you're not going to see any of that. Okay, so now I've got this on here. Let me tilt this up and I'll show you. You can see that I've got my zip tie in there. It's wrapped around the mesh. Let's go ahead and snip that off. Now we're going to do the same thing with the other two. Again, I want this one over here. The other thing I'm going to do is sort of alternate where I have these twine ribbons, because I don't want them all going in the same direction. So I'll probably put one here, and then I'll put this one probably facing the total opposite way. Let me know if you have any questions. Good idea. Yeah. Alright, so we're just going to, again, go in down here along the bottom, find a little loop. And like this one here. So now this time on the ends, because I have these fall branches and sprays, I'm actually going to take my zip tie around all of it so that it's even more secure and those sprays are held in there even more than just with those pine ties. So I'm just kind of going in underneath. And my ficus is going to end up hiding all of this stuff, so. Now we've got this all secure. So you can see we've got our tie there. Trim that off. And like I said, anybody can do this. It's just a matter of trying to figure out what colors to use, how you want your design to look. And I mean, if you struggle with colors, I have a fall guide for color combos that you can use as a starting point if you need it. All right, so now that I've got my pumpkin in here, I'm just kind of moving some of these sprays around to bring it more towards the front, okay? And again, we'll go back and fill this in. All right, so let's place our last pumpkin. That would take me triple the time. What would take you triple the time? So we're just going in here again, attaching this down in the bottom of the pumpkin, and then we're just going to wrap it around. Now remember, I said I wanted this ribbon going this way, and it's okay if it's sort of up a little bit. I mean, this does not have to be perfect. This is literally just putting it all together, and it's going to be beautiful once you're done. So don't stress. Decor is supposed to be fun and easy, not stressful. Building anything, you make it look easy. Oh, you can do this now. This is so easy. This is literally just tying stuff in it. It's so easy. And that's literally it. This is what we already have just in a few minutes. Now again, I'm going to pull some of this stuff around to the front. Does not have to be perfect. You just want to create the dimensions. Pull some of my twigs up. I really love these twigs. Okay. All right, what do you think so far? I really love these colors. Okay, now I have some flowers that we're going to use as well, and I've picked these because these are huge, and they're going to fill in all your spaces quickly and easily. And then we've got some of these that we can use. All right, let me step up. And then I also have some more pumpkins. I mean, who doesn't need more pumpkins, right? So I've got some extra pumpkins. I think it's good to put some extra ones along the sides. So, I mean, it's just filling in. And I just picked these out of my stash. Just don't go buy extra. Just use what you've got. Everybody's got pumpkins laying around somewhere. So just use what you have. Don't buy more. I don't know. It says some comments were filtered, so I don't know if somebody's saying something. Hey Mel, do you have any idea how I share my own live out? I've only done this a few times and I've never shared my own live, so I didn't know if you know or if anybody knows. All right, now we're going to use our glue, and I really want to find. You can do two things. Let me show you a couple. Okay, you can take some of these little skewers. You compared me to Bob Ross. Yeah, I don't know how either, but look, you can take some of these little skewers and you can just poke them into the bottom of your pumpkin and then slide it into your design and glue it that way. That's more secure than just gluing and sticking, but I know a lot of people do just glue and stick. I would recommend, if you're gluing and sticking, that you make sure you touch a piece of the pine or the mesh, because that's going to help secure it in. Okay, but if you're not going to do that, like I want to put some out here to the edge, and I really don't want to bring my pine up, so I'm going to stick some of these little skewers in here. I don't need that sharp of a point. I just cut it into 3 pieces. Doesn't have to be long. And then I'm just going to put a little dab of glue. Shove that in. That's literally it. That's all you have to do. Thank you for sharing. Thank you everyone for sharing. Thank you for the populars, Mel. That's so sweet. Okay, so because I put this on there, I'm going to let that kind of harden. So we'll do the next one. I don't want to start shoving things around when that glue is trying to set, so we'll just make a couple of these. I'm going to use this bigger one too. And probably because I used a slightly smaller pumpkin down here, I might put this bigger one down here just to sort of balance it out a little bit more. No rhyme or reason. You don't have to. It's just something I thought that would make sense to me in my brain. Okay, so there, we've got all of our handmade picks. So, all right, let's go ahead and start setting some of these in, because I want to make sure that they're placed and I know where they're going to be. And I'm just putting some glue on here. And again, I want to make sure I go into the pine. Touch the pine, touch the mesh. And let me tell you another little trick. So I put one little one here, so I'm going to put one over here. It's just a matter of balance. At the end, there's still going to be 2 on this side and 2 on this side, but that's just kind of where my mind went. And I actually want to stick this one, I think, down here. And then this one we're going to stick right over here on the edge. Now I have loads of pumpkins, so if I need more pumpkins, I can always bring in some more pumpkins. But all right, so now we have this just in a few minutes. Love those pumpkins. Which ones? The cream ones or the handmade ones, Catherine? I love these. These are from Cozy Knit Designs on Etsy. She makes them and they're solid. Like, they're so soft. I also have one in a cream that I'm going to keep for myself. And that's because I wasn't really sure how this color was going to turn out, and I love it. So, all right, so here's what we've got so far. Now I'm going to go ahead and start working with my peonies. I've got two kinds. I really like these big ones, so I'm going to work with these first. They're more of an off-white cream, and then I'm going to go in with the brown. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because these are bigger. They're going to give me more coverage, so I want to use these first, okay? And then I'll fill in with these. All right, so let me just move those out of the way. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 flowers. So I know that's going to give me at least 2 on each side. And because these have beautiful twig bases, see how these bases are twiggy? They match these twigs in this design. That's why I picked it out. And then we've got some of these filler greens. So we're going to use everything on this bush, even the leaves, because these leaves are actually really nice. Look how gorgeous those leaves are. They kind of have a little bit of a shimmer. I love these. I actually got this at Michael's last year at the end of the season. So let's go ahead and cut these down. So that's what one looks like. Forgot to take my tag off. Yeah, you see, I got it orange sale on Hobby Lobby. Hey Justin, hey. We are doing a fall pumpkin centerpiece, Justin. Nothing scary, creepy today. What are you up to? I'm just cutting all of these florals off. Again, I just love how long that is. It's going to give you so much depth, and it's going to take up a lot of room. So again, there's just one. And like I said, I really love this leaf, so we are going to find somewhere to use the leaf because I like it. So I'll save that. It's so cute. Justin, I haven't even used any glue. Well, I did glue in the these pumpkins. I made my own little picks from skewers. And so I had to glue them into the pumpkin, and then I slid them into the design. But everything was laid out on a 36-inch swag, and it's all just zip tied in. And then I've got just mesh here in the center to support the pumpkins. Make sure everything is solid on this side. There we go. Okay. All right, so this is what I'm thinking. So as we go in, and I'm doing this the wrong way, but I'm thinking, you know, something along the lines like this, And I like to kind of lay it out first to see how it's going to look before I start really gluing. I have a flower here, so I'm going to come over here and put another flower. And then I've got a couple more. And I think I want to stick one right up in here. And then that means I'll come probably right about, I don't want to hide my pumpkin, but I want to, again, fill out the edges and fill this center part out. I can always go back in and add some more ficus if I need to, but the goal is to just use what we got in here already. Okay, so I'm liking that. And then I've got 2 of these and 2 of these. So I'm going to use one of each on each end. And I actually have some more of those flowers in a different color. So if I need some more of these, I can snip them off of that bush. But I've got also filler on my other peony bush. So what do you think? Does this look okay? Thank you for the community, Mel. That's so sweet. You don't have to send those. What do you think? Do you like these flowers so far? They're the right ones to use. What's your thoughts? All right, well, let's go ahead and get started on gluing. Now, generally, I use my glue pot, but I didn't want to plug it in and wait on it today, so we are just going to use the glue gun. And so again, one of the reasons why I use the mesh is so that I can hold things in with glue, and that's what we're doing. We're going to slide that right in between the mesh and the pine base so that it has something to hold on to. Oh, I just burned myself. That's like the second time I burned myself with this gun. It's a fairly new gun for me, but it's super hot. Super. Like, it's hotter than any glue gun I've ever used. Alright, so this came, I want to use it, so I'm going to stick it right in here and hide some of this mesh, and then I'll show you what we've got. Okay, so here's what we have so far on this side. And then I'm going to go ahead and start working on this one. I don't know if you can see it, but it's steaming. It's so hot. Now, I just put that one right here in between the 2 pumpkins. I really like that. All right, let's work on these. Mel, do you design home decor or your own kind of crafty things? So I'm just, again, going right in with that mesh. I think on this one, I may move it this way a little bit. I'm trying to see how I want to balance this out. Actually, I'm going to probably stick it right there so that it's... I don't really want 2, you know, exactly opposite from each other. I want them on, you know, opposite sides, but I don't want them to be you know, like right across from each other. So that's what I'm trying to avoid right now by moving this one around a little bit. So then I have this one, and it's more of an angle and an angle this way. I'm going to cut this one down a little bit. I initially thought that I would use that stem, but I think it's a little too long. Yeah, that's better. And this is why I like to use my glue gun, because I can use it better here on that. Okay, and then I've got an extra leaf. I think I want to use that leaf right in here, or maybe here. Just trying to look to see where I want that leaf to be. I kind of like it there, so let's just go ahead and use it right there under that pumpkin. Okay. Any questions? Now this is just really, you know, a filler, but it's also just going to give it a little bit more dimension and play here. So I'm going to put this really under my pumpkins, trying to see where I want to go with it. I think I'll actually use it over here on the side to fill out some of the side a little bit, to give it a more, I'll show you on the other side here in a second, once I get this piece glued in. Let that sit up. I'm thinking like, you know, more like this in between the flowers so that it fills in some of that. And again, I'm just kind of making sure that it's touching the mesh and the glue. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. And I think I will end up, after I get off the live, I'm going to go and trim some more of these off of another bush. These, and insert at least another one on ends here. But we've got these now. I really love these. These just look like fall vines. So I am going to really kind of go in here and elongate this design by adding this in. And I'm going to actually zip tie it because I want to make sure that it stays. So I'm going to zip tie it around one of the other sprays. But I don't want to hide the greenery and the green leaves, so I'm trying to be real careful about doing that. Then you can always bring in your brown and hide some of that if you need to. but I just literally zip tied it in. And now we're going to do one on the other side. And again, I'm just really securing that down into the spray so that it's not going to go anywhere. And again, it's so full that you won't even see it anyway. You will not see that zip tie. See, it's already covered up by the pumpkin. All right, there we have that. All right, and again, don't worry about your pine ties. We can trim those if we need to. But this is what we have, and literally we have just used a couple branches of ficus, 2 really big sprays, some pumpkins, and some flowers. That's it. All right, so I'm going to go in with these because I do want to share out the flowers and put them throughout the design. And I'm going to keep these stems a little bit longer because I want to make sure that they're going to go in where I need them to. Let's start with that. And one of the reasons why I love this bush is because it literally comes with everything. So it's got these fun fillers, it's got these fillers with some hydrangeas. So we're just going to start popping those in and filling this out. And again, I'm just kind of placing things where I want them first, just to make sure that's where I want it to go. And then I'm going to go in and glue. The other thing that I will tell you can do is, if you're still just a little unsure about using the glue, just wrap your pine tie around it. So like this one right here, I could even take 2 pine ties and wrap it around this base of this stem, and then add a little bit of glue if I want to. That's it. And it's going to be secure. And again, it's so full, you're not going to see the pine. See, you're not even going to see the pine. I didn't realize that I was off camera. It's so big. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and stick one of these right here in the middle. I do want to cover up some of that. And then again, I'm going to do one on the other side as well. And I think I may just... Again, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not just putting them right across from each other, because I don't want it to look like here's what we have on this side. You can see that. And I'll probably use, I think I'll use one of these little buds over there because I've got a little bit more room where I can put another flower. Yep. Let's start working on this side over here. We've got this side. So I'm going to start working down over here. Again, I'm going to use a pine tie because I really want to hold this down. So I'm just looking for 2 ties. They're in there, you just have to kind of dig them out. Bringing this pine cone up too because I don't want to hide that pine cone for sure. Secure it with a little glue. And that's really it. I mean, this is really it. Now I am going to go back and I'm going to trim down my pine branches a little bit so they're not sticking out. And then, like I said, I am going to go trim a couple of these off of another bush and add them in here. But otherwise, this really is done. I mean, we've covered our mesh. We've put in all of our greenery and filler. So this really is done. I'll probably fluff it out a little bit more, raise up the berries, stuff like that. But I'm not going to use any ribbon in this piece. And that's it. We're done for today. It took us less than an hour. All right, thanks for stopping by, everyone.